Greetings, R. Frederick Riddle here with another episode of Becoming a Published Author is Fun. If you don't understand that, check out episode 8. This is episode 25, 27, and you may already notice that I've got a slightly different view here. And I'm experimenting with different views. This is using Zoom, which if I'm able to use it effectively, will be a benefit to you because then you can do different things with it. And we may even be able to eventually have you interact with me. So, but right now, this is strictly the old-fashioned way of what I've been doing is teaching you, and you can watch it and stop it and all that. But what I want to talk to you about today, makes this kind of a special episode. I have a book that I've put together, and it's called The Guide to Indie Author Publishing. And I'm going to give that away for free. Why? Because I want to help you. And this book covers a lot of different things, and that's what I'm going to go through with you on, just so that you can see it. Now, I'm going to share my screen here with you, and I hope this works. We're going to do that and share that. And there you are. So what you see there is the cover, A Guide to Indie Author Publishing. It's just an idea there that I want you to get the idea. This is something that's valuable to you. And that's when it comes to you, it'll come to you as a PDF. You can, and you'll be able to download it to your own computer and to use as you so desire. So let's stop sharing and get back to here. So what I want you to do is I'm just going to tell you a little bit of what this is all about, and then you take the action that you feel is helpful to you. You may know everything there is to know. If you do, I don't know why you're watching this. Maybe I should be watching you. But if you think you can learn something, this book will give you a lot of information, some of which we cover on this podcast. There's other things we cover that aren't in this book, but this book is meant to be a help to you. So let's look at who I am. One of the first things that this book does, it tells you the history of T&R Independent Books. My wife and I founded this business in 2014. The beginning of August 2014. And to celebrate that, I had what's called a cabbage 5 heart attack that very same month at the end of the month. That's not the way to celebrate something from folks, but that's what I apparently did. Had a massive heart attack, and I'm still here to talk about it. And it did slow us down, but it didn't stop us, and we continued on. My wife had cancer 3 different times, 2018, 2019, and then she was free of cancer until 2022, and it came back, but it was very small, and that is not what took her life. That's a whole different story, and I do tell her story in a book called The Best of Tests, which is available in our bookstore. But it tells you our history. And up until then, until her death, we were primarily focused on publishing my books, and then she came along with her books, so we started publishing both mine and hers. And that was where we were at that point in time. After she passed away, the Lord led me to create and then offer a course. It's called Basic Authors Training, or BAT, B-A-T. And it's a course that teaches you how to write. It's in a 2-tier method. And we'll get into that in a little bit more here, I think. But in any case, it was two tiers. One tier, the top tier, you can think of it as, is teaching. And down there below is coaching. Now, this whole course is made interactive. Maybe that's not. It's made a self-paced book. You teach yourself. However, it is interactive at the same time because you have me as a coach, and you can have access to me. There's different ways we can set that up. Might vary from person to person. My preferred way would be probably a Zoom call, such as this. We can also use text, even telephone, but that's the least of the ways to do it. Telephone has a way of, we don't always understand one another over a phone. And you might, if you're like me, you want to see the person who's talking to you and all sorts of things. Preferably, it would be a Zoom call. It would probably be a minimum of 15 minutes. It could go over that, depending upon your needs. Some are scheduled, and then there are others that you could just say, Ron, I need to have a meeting with you. I have some questions. And what we would do, we'd set up the meeting, and you would then email me, most likely, the questions you have, and give me as much detail as you can so that I can look it up and have answers ready. So we're not wasting any time when we're on the Zoom call. So that is who I am. And a very broad view of the course. I also have ministry publishing, which I've talked about in the past. And I have clients for that, which are getting ready to, moving very close to getting published. And so that is something that's very exciting. And I'm enjoying it. And they're excited. And so that is something that, again, it's part of my effort to, so you might think of it as me paying back. I went through the School of Hard Knocks. I've told that story many times. And I don't want you to have to go through that. I'm trying to give you enough information that if you choose to go alone, choose to go on your own, you can do so. It's easy, but it's also difficult. And that sounds like a contradiction, but it's easy because the tools make it easy and even simple. It's hard or difficult because it takes time away from your writing career. It takes time away from your social life. So it's a stealer of time. Me, I enjoy helping other people, and so that's so I am here to help both in this podcast, which is free, and in my course, which does cost money, and also ministry publishing, which costs money also, a little bit less, but they cost money. But what that you get is my coaching. You get some tools that I give you for free, and you get to be published by T&R Independent Books, and you get some marketing by us as well. So that's who I am, my vision. My vision is, I've already kind of mentioned it, is to help you as an author. You may be an existing author. You may be something who's just thinking about it. Well, if you're thinking about it, consider yourself an author. And it remains to be seen whether that's true or not, but I want you to start thinking of yourself that way, because if you want to have some kind of success in this business, you've got to think of yourself as an independent author. And I don't have time to get into the indie author aspect of it, other than it's far, far better than traditional or so-called self-publishing. This is true self-publishing. This is where you are in charge. Whether you're going it alone or going through the course or going through ministry publishing, you are in charge. I'm the coach, not your boss. And so I'm also your teacher, not your boss. I can teach you what's right and what's wrong, but it's your choice which way you want to go. And so I can advise you and teach you and guide you along the way. So my vision is partly that. The rest of my vision is I am a Christian businessman. This is a Christian business, and I want to promote the gospel. Well, how better to do it? If you're a Christian and you're writing, whether you have the gospel itself in your book, some authors do, some don't. They're still Christian, and they write in a Christian worldview. And that, again, helps to promote the gospel. It's more of an indirect approach, but it still does the job. So I'm a Christian businessman who wants to help you promote the gospel. On the other hand, I'm also a Christian businessman who has a vision from God how to support missions. And this whole business is designed to do that. And that's not the purpose of this podcast. I just want you to know that is part of my vision. Benefits of indie publishing. I've already mentioned the fact that you're the boss. That is, to me, as an indie author myself, that is huge. Because as a traditional, no, you are not the boss, not even close. Self-publishing sounds close. It sounds like you're in charge, but you're not. You do have some freedom, more freedom than you have with traditional, but they're the boss. They're the ones they'll have you. Now you do have the choice of whether you edit your book or they edit it. When I was going through self-publishing, I did my own editing. I learned it the hard way, and that is hard because it's not only time-consuming. You have to be very focused, and because as the author of the book, your mind will play tricks on you, and you'll be reading a sentence. You may have left a word out, but your mind knows that word belongs there and will just gloss over that. And so you have to be very, very focused to make sure that doesn't happen. So one of the benefits is, though, that you do your own editing, you do your own publishing if you want, or you can hire an indie publisher such as myself who will treat you as though you are the one doing the publishing. And so I'm an indie author myself, so I think like you should be thinking, and I act like you were planning on acting, and I will be, like I said, you'll be the boss. I'll guide, I'll teach, I'll encourage, I'll do all the things I can to help you be the best you can be. But in the end, you're the boss. You might decide to hire us. You might decide to hire somebody else. That's your right as an indie author. You take all that responsibility on yourself. You can decide to do your own publishing if you want. Again, it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take some learning curve, all sorts of things. But that is a very, very big, a huge difference between traditional publisher, traditional author, and also, for that matter, traditional publisher, and a self-published author or a self-publishing house. So the thing is, you want to be an indie author. Believe me, trust me. If you're new to this, I do cover that on different occasions. Why indie is so much better. You can also go back and look at previous episodes in which I talk about indie publishers. It's just something that when you investigate it, you'll see, and you might find yourself saying, wow, just in royalties themselves, you get the better royalty, a far better royalty. So that's just a couple of benefits. As a coach, that's a benefit, having me as your coach, because you get my experience. I have been a published author since 2003. Before that, I was unpublished, and I was going through the school, what I call the School of Hard Knocks. Learned a lot of stuff, most of it wrong. I had to unlearn all that bad stuff, junk, if you will, and then relearn the right stuff. By the way, I have my own coach. It's always good to practice what you preach. And I preach having a coach, so I have a coach. So that's another benefit of being an indie, indie publishing, being an indie author. Still another one that we've talked about, the control, which is the first one is about, really. And then now royalties, as editing, marketing. That marketing is something that you are, as an author, whether you're traditional, self-publishing, or indie, the responsibility is yours. And no matter how you go, you're going to spend a lot of time marketing. But if you're anything like me, you don't like marketing. That's not your favorite thing. So you need help. Well, what I do in my course and in the Ministry of Ministry Publishing, I provide tools. Basically, it's more in the course than it is in the Ministry Publishing, because the Ministry Publishing you are already have written or are in the process of putting together a book. When we get to the point of getting published and everything, there's tools. And ministry publishing, when that book finally gets published, the author will get lifetime access to the tool chest, which I'm in the process also of creating. As the course itself unfolds, you get tools that you can download. And then when you're done with the course and you're getting published, again, you get lifetime access to the publishing tool chest, if you will. And so those are just some of the benefits that you have as being an indie author. I could spend the entire 20 minutes or so on just the benefits. Overview of lessons. In this book that I'm giving away for free, I talk about such things as AI. And I'll probably be updating that again soon. And by the way, if you sign up and ask for that book, what you're going to do is email me, and then you're going to do so. You'll request the book. Request Guide to Indie Author Publishing. You'll get that for free. And what happens is that when I update that book, I will automatically send you the update. And so that's area that I think is important, because, for instance, AI is constantly changing. I'm constantly investigating. I just recently got into AI bot, and I'm using my AI bot that I created. I'm using it for different things, and it's going to expand. And eventually I may teach you, once I get confident enough in my own uses of it, I'm going to want to at least one lesson. It may take up more than one lesson to teach you how to create and use an AI bot. But that's one of the things that's covered in this book. So one of the lessons that the lessons themselves aren't in the book. I talk about the lessons, some of the things that are covered in the course. But that will help you. That's something, when you're looking at the course itself, you can check your book and say, oh, it covers that. And if it doesn't cover it, you can communicate to me and say, can you add this into your course? And if I will take a serious look at that. I'm always looking at things in which I can add to be a help to you. So we got that. And then we have the more. And basically, the last statement I was making there is pretty much the more. I want to make this book something that is constantly growing, constantly changing, constantly being updated, and therefore being sent to you. Now, I may not do it with every revision. If I'm doing like one right after another, I might wait until I get them all done and then send out an update. I don't want to overburden you with updates so that you can't even have time to use what you've got. The updates are something that will be helpful to you, but I don't want it to be a burden. I don't want it to be something that keeps you from being a published author, or robs you of your time, robs you of the ability to enjoy your career as a writer. But basically, that's what this is all about. So T&R Independent Books. It was founded by my wife and myself. Now it's just me. Eventually, I hope to have hire people. I'm in no hurry to do it, because once I hire them, I got to train them. And once I train them in this and get them to do the different things and take some of the duties off of me that I now have. My vision, that's in the book. Benefits of indie publishing, that's in the book. I do give an overview of some of the lessons, and like I say, I will be adding lessons to it, and it will be something that will give you an overview of why you should even consider basic authors training or ministry publishing. I have a third one called Fast Track. Now, Fast Track is ministry publishing on steroids. That's the best way, only way I could think of doing it, is it's ministry publishing, but it's in a time frame. The problem there is you've got to be ready. It's a 3 months. 3 months does not, may sound like a lot of time, but it's not. And so your book cannot be, I'm going to finish it shortly. It can't be that. It's got to be finished, ready in your mind to be published, because there's going to be some editing and there's going to be something in which you're going to have to go in and correct. And so if you do my job and you do your job, we'll get that done and get it published. And I get my offer, my guarantee, if you will, is to get it done in 90 days. And so it's got to be much more restrictive, and it's going to require not only on me but on you to be on our toes and really work at it. So it's basic authors training, ministry publishing, and fast track, all covered in the book, to give you the idea of what you can do as an indie author, what I have to offer. And I don't remember whether I have a chapter in there on what you can do as just going your own way. But basically, anything that I talk about in here is me doing what you could do. The publishing, you can do it yourself. And so that is something, and in fact, that is in the course itself, how to publish. But it's going to take you time and effort. And so that is something that anything that I say that I can do, so can you. Just remember, it's going to think of Churchill in World War II. He promised a lot. But one of the things he promised them would be blood, sweat, and tears. And he wasn't joking. That was a rough war. A lot of people died. A lot of people lost arms and legs and other things. That's what nature of war. Well, you're not going to lose your arms and legs or your lives becoming an author. But you can lose a lot of free time that could be used for other things that you might enjoy doing. And I'm willing to make that sacrifice to enable you, so you don't have to make it. But if you want to, you can, and this book will at least give you some direction in going that route. So that's it for today. I'm going to close this down in a minute, but I just want you to know that this whole thing, this podcast is sponsored by Basic Authors Training and Ministry Publishing. It is also this channel that I'm on, which is T&R Independent Books, that has not only this podcast, but my other one was called Christian News and Views, where I look at the news from a Christian point of view, and I separate news, facts, from my opinion. And so you're allowed to disagree with me on my opinion. And I encourage you to, whether you agree or disagree, comment on them and give me your insights. And who knows, we can get it up, maybe we can get a dialogue going on that. But as far as this course is concerned, this podcast is concerned, everything that I talk about in here is free to you. This podcast comes to you for free. The information I'm giving you is free. And you can take it and use it right away. And it encourages me to inform you, inspire you, and to encourage you to be your very, very best, especially as an author. So you have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next episode. You have a great day, and I'm going to stop recording.